Alright guys, come on in. So I kind of feel like I have my first true holiday palette of the season. I know there have been other holiday palettes, but this one is truly giving like the holiday winter wonderland Christmas vibe experience. So come on in, let's go ahead and start the video. Hey guys, this is Ashley. Welcome on back to my channel. So today I have the beautiful Nomad Cosmetics Polar Express palette. And at this particular time, this palette should have been just revealed on Instagram and the guessing game should be completed by now. So let me go ahead and introduce myself. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you're older but goodie, welcome on back. My name is Ashley. I have a doctorate in pharmacy and I love makeup. So that's how you get Dr. Ash and her makeup, but please just call me Ash or Ashley, and eyeshadow is my jam. And it's literally like one of my most favorite things to talk about here on my channel. So with my video of the Chicago palette, the Nomad Chicago palette, which is the Chicago Speakeasy palette, which is my hometown. I am born and raised in Chicago. I live in Chicago now. I live in the city of Chicago. Okay. I grew up in the city of Chicago. So Nomad saw that video and they loved it. So thank you so much for supporting that video. And thank you to Nomad Cosmetics because they reached out to me and they said, we would like to start kind of sending you some things and do a trial with a code. So I do have a code with Nomad Cosmetics, which is Dr. Ash, and they told me that they were going to send along their new release. So this is the new release. We have the Polar Express palette here. So here she is in all her glory. This is the outer packaging. You know, Nomad definitely kills it with their packaging for their unicartons and the actual packaging of the palette. Once you turn it over, you do have a couple little notations about the palette. It says the Polar Express. It says it's intense eyeshadow palette designed on a snowy winter day abroad. The Polar Express, proud supporter of the WWF and their work in the Arctic. Okay, because you know that Nomad Cosmetics is always going to support a cause for that particular local region that they are traveling to, and they're supporting WWF. So Nomad Cosmetics is distributed out of San Antonio, Texas, USA. The palette is made in China, made in the labs, but the palette is vegan and cruelty-free. Remember that palettes that are vegan and cruelty-free can be made in China as long as they're not selling in China. And then it says once you open this palette, it's good for 12 months. But you know, if you keep your makeup in a cool and dry area, it will definitely last. So here is the gorgeous unicarton right here. Look how cool that is. So it has like the little outline of the train, and when you stick the palette in, y'all know, hold on, y'all know I can't open stuff. There we go. It looks like this. So super cool effect. I really like how they do their packaging. And Nomad like usually keeps it affordable. I do not have the price of this palette at the time. It's not listed on the Instagram account. The guessing game of the first couple shadows just started. And once again, I did mention that this palette was gifted to me in PR, but no obligation to post. So at this moment, the palette, like I said, first couple of guessing game shades. So the destination is going to come out Friday 8th, which will basically have passed, but the color story is going to be today. So my plans is you'll see it today, which is Saturday, November 9th. Now the palette is actually going to launch on Tuesday, November 12th at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So basically, if you're in the Central Standard Time or Mountain or Pacific, that would be 11 p.m. or it'll be 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. on that Monday, the 11th. Okay. And usually their palettes are like in the $40, low $50 range. It kind of depends on the palette. So if once I get the price, I'll just like put that down in the pinned comments when I have that information. So I do have 3 looks for you. So let's go ahead and get started with the looks. And of course, as I do the looks, we're going to have some thoughts as I wrap up. And of course, we're going to wrap up at the end. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the looks. The eyebrows are filled in, of course, using my Goof pencil, shade 3.75. This is by Benefit Cosmetics. And then I have my Urban Decay Primer Potion on in the shade Caffeine. I do believe that this is discontinued. I've been using it because I found it in my drawer and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so much primer left in here. So it's perfect for filming because, you know, I'm priming my eyes and then taking it off. So, but if you want something very similar in terms of color, texture, and performance, I would recommend the MAC Paint Pot in the shade Contemplative State. So let's go ahead. I'm going to shut up for the first 2 looks, and then we'll come back for the 3rd look and talk it out. am back, and here are the first two looks. So let's go ahead and get into the face details real quick before I talk about the shadow performance. So for my foundation, I went in with the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Foundation in the shade 18 Golden. And for the primer, I actually took my What's Up Beauty, let's see, I don't know why I put it up. But What's Up Beauty Positivity Primer. They did send this to me, but it's a really nice kind of like lightweight moisturizing primer. I went in with the Nomad Cosmetics Lift and Flex Concealer in the shade 11, and then put just like a dab of this Fenty 350 just for a little extra brightening in this area. Took my baby pink powder by Pat McGrath to set that under eye, and of course I went ahead with my good old contour stick by Sephora Collection, shade medium to tan. Went ahead and took my Pat McGrath Labs blush in Cherish, nice little baby pink. And you can see how much I've used it, like the rose is starting to disappear. And of course, my good old favorite highlighter that I love using, that I'm on a serious journey to figure out how long would it ever take me to pan it. And for the lashes, I went ahead and used these Z-Gain lashes right here. This is just like, my cousin gave me these, but there are the Lashes Natural. You can get these off of Amazon. I did cut them down so they're not so dramatic. Plus, they're too large for my eyes, so I do have to cut them down. And for the lip, I went ahead with my Pat McGrath Labs Bella Amore. This is one of the Divinyls. Kind of like that same, I guess, formulation that those lip gloss bomb sticks are, but I think a little bit more pigmented. I really like this formula by Pat McGrath. I don't know why she won't give us more, but we're not here to talk about that. And I have my pencil. This is going to be Ventura Boulevard. This is the Multi-Chrome Gel Liner by ColourPop. I really highly recommend these. And then I have my Alkaline 24/7 Glide On Pencil by Urban Decay. A pencil. I've really been loving this too since I've rediscovered it in my collection. So that is the face and the details behind it. And let's go ahead and talk about the shadow performance. So far everything I used, I really love. I am really feeling this blue eye. I'm really feeling this eye too, but I think I'm feeling the blue more because it's like cool tone. I don't know. It worked out so well. So of course, first I went in with this as a transition shade, the Hot Cocoa. I really like it because it's one of those mid-tone browns that are like not too dark, but provides a nice like gradient and transition. It did show up well on the skin, and then going ahead and popping that little bone shade in the inner corner gave it the nice definition. The blue was very pigmented. Can you tell that I was like very light-handed? I was working around the imprints in here because I did not want to mess it up, and going ahead and popping in all aboard to just go ahead and the inner corner. And then I did decide to kind of layer that over the red just to give like a little bridge between the gold and the red to kind of give that extra dimension. So it wasn't like a huge thing that you notice, but I do like how it did just kind of alter that, just bridging the gap between the shadows. The shadows were really nice. I do think with the shimmer shadows, I do think that the glitter glue is like something that will definitely help, you know, increase the longevity and the pigmentation of the shadow. So I do definitely recommend it. I pretty much use glitter glue with just about any shadow at this point for the most part, to be honest. So that's just my thing that I really like to do, but it really does help the shadow performance. It just kind of helps to stick, especially because like Mr. C was a little bit more frosty. It's a really pretty, just kind of like taupe shimmery shade. And then I really like the tone of First Gift because it's a little bit more subdued, and it just kind of provided like the nice little transfer, like between the shades of just having that blue. So it wasn't so stark, just kind of give it that nice little gradient. And then this shade right here, which is Santa's Helper. Oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful shade, and paired with these two, it just kind of gave the nice smoke. And then of course that brown, that deep brown dark forest really just helped pull the look together. It gave a nice amount of definition, and so did this blue. So I'm really happy with how both of these looks came out. So I feel very festive and kind of getting into like that holiday season. I feel very like Christmassy over here, and a little bit more, I feel Christmassy / Thanksgiving over here. So it's kind of leading up into that holiday season. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna wipe this off unfortunately, and we're gonna do one more look. Of course, I have to go in with this blue multi-chrome shade, which is called Polar Express, the namesake of the palette. What am I talking about? So I definitely have to go in with this shade. So I'll be back in a second. All right, I'm re-primed and everything. So I'm gonna go back in with Hot Cocoa because it's just like a perfect little transition-y shade for me. And just, it like gives a nice amount of color, but just, you know, not too much. And I'm just popping that all like in the transition area. I'm using my Blend Bunny, what is this? The B5 brush. And then I'm going to go ahead and take North Pole, that really light blue. And I'm going to just kind of pop it right here in this area. Oh, that has nice pigmentation. Okay. And I'm just using that same brush. Look at that. That's exciting. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I like shy away from the lighter shades, but they do work well, like, you know, in the inner corners. But it's nice when they have a nice amount of pigmentation. So this is like pastel, but it's very vibrant, and it doesn't have like too much of a white background. So I just need like a little bit more here to even out what I did on the other side. Like, you see how it's just pigmented and it's not like too much of a white base. So when I blend it out, it's not turning like a white cast. I like that. I like that. Same brush. And I'm just wiping it off. I have like a little towel right here. And I'm going to go in with Santa's Helper because I really enjoy this little kind of Bordeaux shade. And I'm just going to stamp that here. And kind of blend up. First, I'm just going to slightly. All right, so I popped that little red shade or the Bordeaux shade in there, and it's really pretty. It's kind of soft. It goes well with the blue. And I'm just going to kind of deepen it up. Right now, it's giving me my high school colors. my high school colors, well, they would be red. It was red, baby blue, and white. So, and I'm just going to lightly kind of blend those two together. So that is good. I like how that looks right now. Just wiping that brush off. I'm still using that same brush. Now I'm going to go in with Frozen Sea, that beautiful blue shade. And I'm going to pop that in the outer V. And I'm just going to kind of dab and press this on first. And then I'll just kind of go ahead and focus on the blending of the shade. And let's see how these two meet, this red and this blue, this Bordeaux shade. I might add in a little dark forest to give a little extra depth and dimension. The Nomad mattes are really nice, especially when they're a little bit more pigmented. These have been, I really like these. From what I've used so far, I think I really love the Chicago palette, but I think a couple of them are actually a little bit better than the Chicago palette. That makes me slightly sad to say, because I really like that palette. It's one of my favorites. I'm from Chicago, and they did a great job with it, but I just wish a couple of the purples were just a little deeper. So I'm just kind of swirling and blending that out. Now I'm going to take a smaller blending brush so I don't make it muddy or anything like that, and just kind of focus on this particular area in here. And it kind of looks a mess on the outer corner, but when I kind of clean it up with concealer or makeup wipe, it'll be all right. So I'm not going to worry about it so much. I'm going to just dab a little bit more blue in where it kind of gets lost in my whole crease situation. I'm wiping that B5 off again. I'm going to go back in with a little bit more Santa's Helper to kind of blend over that blue. Just a tiny bit. Go there. All right, and I think we're looking good, but I do still just want to take a little bit of dark first. I just want to take a little bit. Oh yeah, it brings the smoke and still kind of like keeps the shade. That works. Okay, now my good old glitter glue. I pressed it too much. It like comes out the side now at this point. Oh, so annoying. But it's gonna go ahead. And I always work like one eye at a time with the shimmers with the glitter glue so it doesn't dry out. Because you just want it to be tacky. You don't want to be too wet or too caked on so that it's not disturbing your shimmers or making it too thick or irritate your eye. So So you just need like a nice little layer to just help. And I always kind of just drag it over to the matte situation so there is a good little blend. And usually I kind of put a little bit in the inner corner also so it can stick, and it helps with my longevity of the shade. And now I'm going in with the beautiful Polar Express. I'm going to take this on my finger, do a nice little light rub. Look at that. Ooh, that is pretty. It's a beautiful shade. And it looks like it has a little bit of, it's like opaque, but not too opaque. So by me putting it over the red, you kind of see the red just kind of peeking through, which I'm totally okay with. But then it does look like I can build it up, because like if you look along the baseline right here, it is built up a little bit. Now I'm going to go in with my Sonia G flat definer. This is like one of my brushes of choice because it does pick up like the shimmers pretty well, but just to like, you know, tune up where my finger can't be precise. Yeah, I like how that red looks. I like how that blue looks. If I'm happy with it. I'm trying to think, do I want to bring, I'll probably bring the blue in just a little bit right there. But let's see, for the inner corner highlight, I am going to take Silver Bell. I'm just taking a little bit. Yep, there we go. And I'm wiping still so gently because I'm like, I don't want to mess up the indentations. I literally just like wiped right there. Okay, so that is good. I'm going to go back in with that smaller blending brush. I'm going to take a little bit more Frozen C. That was our blue. And just, yep, there we go. I'm going to wipe off the excess and just fuse it together. And that way you still see the red, but it's not like, it kind of look like a little gap. And I'm just going to go ahead and take a little bit more of Santa's Helper. And sometimes why I do this method is because like I have a hooded eye, so I need to see like with my shimmer placement and everything, you know, because I don't want everything to kind of be like depressed. I need it to kind of like go up and make sure like the hood action is kind of being set back. So it's always fine to like readjust after you get your mattes down. But I like that, really pretty. Okay, I'm gonna do the other eye and fix up my face, and I'll be right back. All right, I am back. So this is the third and final look. So I hope you do enjoy it. And I think that this palette is so gorgeous. For the face details, there's nothing new. I use that same pencil. It's just the same lashes. It's just a different eyeshadow look, same lipstick, everything. So I really enjoy how this looks. I think that this look looks very like whimsical. It's deep, it's smoky, but it's not too deep. And I really like how that blue sits on top of the sparkly Polar Express shimmer. I also feel like these are multi-chromes that, or at least it's only really one true multi-chrome in here, the Polar Express shade, but this is like a multi-chrome that if you don't want something that's too super impactful and bold and out of there, but you want something that still has some impact and nice sparkle, I feel like this is for you. Because it has like that sheer base, you can kind of transform it based off of like what mattes you layer underneath it. I really like the pop of red, how it meshed well with the blue. All of the shades blend really nicely. I'm really impressed with all the mattes in this particular palette. I did not use the white. I mean, kind of obvious reasons. I would probably just pop that in the corner, but I definitely feel like it definitely goes with the aesthetic of the palette. But I really enjoy the blendability of these mattes. I really also enjoy how these two mattes are like kind of stays true to color. Like even if I packed it in my inner corners, they were still like very pigmented. Even when I started blending them out, I didn't get like that white ashy cast with those particular shadows that sometimes you can get with really light pastel shadows. So I really appreciate that. Like I was saying before, like I think I enjoy the mattes in here at least like two of the mattes a little bit better than in the Chicago palette, because I know in the Chicago palette, the green matte was just a little bit to me. And then one of the lighter purple mattes, I was like, I was slightly disappointed with, even though I love that palette. But everything just played so nicely in here. You have beautiful options. Like, yes, it's very neutral, so you can get a lot of good neutral looks out of here. And then you have that pop of blue. And I feel like even if you pop the blue in with some of these more neutral colors, you can still get something a little bit more neutral into your taste. You have beautiful taupey shades. You have those silvery shades. So you also have a pop of warmth in this palette. So if you're a person that kind of has a really, you know, warm skin tone like I do, I still feel like this palette will look good on you, because you have this brown that you can kind of base all your looks on, that gives that nice transition, and it kind of like blends and feathers out the other shades really nicely. Really enjoyed this shade as well, and really enjoyed my two deeper shades. Also was very pleasantly surprised that I could put the dark forest kind of in the inner corner and really deepen up that blue, so now it wasn't so bright. It kind of just gave up off a navy blue versus like that cobalt blue, cobalt blue, painter's tape blue. You know, I really like those type of blues, but I just wanted the more depth and dimension, and I feel like I was really able to get that with this look. So overall, I really do like this palette, and let me know if you like it down below. Are you going to be picking it up? It's Christmassy, but I feel like you can wear it kind of like all over, you know, basically any season, especially with cool tones being so in right now. So I really do like how this palette performs and the color story of the palette. And like I said, like just this little hint of warmth in the palette just kind of transitions the palette so well. So I think they did an amazing job with this palette per usual. And so let me know down below, will you be picking this up? So once again, I do have a code with Nomad Cosmetics now, and it is Dr. Ash, and you can save 10%. At the current moment, it is affiliated, but it's kind of like on a test basis to see how the code does, but it's all good. So if you want to go ahead and use that, I definitely appreciate it. It'll definitely put back into this channel. And if not, use somebody else's code so you definitely get some money off. So let me know, what was your favorite look? This by far was my favorite look. And then I wouldn't say the other blue. I liked all three. But that blue look with the taupe, and it kind of looked a little more neutral with the pop of blue. But this look right here just really just kind of takes it to the next level. It's definitely giving that smoke and ice princess vibes without being too icy. It still has that warmth. So give this video a big old thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so you know when I come back with another video, which will be soon. And subscribe to my channel, because you know I would love to have you here in my little makeup family. With that being said, you already know what time it is. It's time for the chair dance. Chair dance. Hey, 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 chair dance. Chair dance. Hey. All right, y'all. Bye.